feels good. Yeah, it feels good. Make sure my mic apparatus is right. You heard? Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Thank you guys for tuning into another episode here at Grizzly Talk. I am your host at Mike on the mic here, and we got a big guest here. He's definitely been putting on for the Fresno area. He has a movie that's going to be dropping June 19th, this Thursday at the Maya Theater. I don't know if this will drop before then, but maybe we'll drop some clips.
Yeah. We could do some content, you know what I mean? Get our 10 pieces busting and, you know what I mean? Just run it up and then see what happens.
Yeah, but we got Marquise. He goes by Keys here in the building, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, bro. I'm doing great, man.
Thank y'all for having me under short notice, man.
I just
got back into the town and, I reached out and you responded almost immediately.
Yeah. Well, I remembered Monday and, bro, I know sometimes we get so busy, bro, and like that page just kind of goes crazy, man. But no, I had it in mind, so I'm glad we made it happen, bro.
For sure. How long have y'all been having a podcast? Like,
totally. We posted our first clip September 20th on our Instagram. Yeah, this past year.
Okay.
So like 9 months or so, 8 months, 9 months.
And did you expect it to grow this way or?
No, not at all, bro. Like I did not think that we would be doing what we're doing right now because it kind of just snowballed. And this guy has been the one that David, shout out David. He's been the one kind of like pushing all of us to like get connected with the right people and everything. And then he also, pushes on us to like even starting this podcast. Like I kind of just said it as a joke, or not as a joke, but I just told him, I guess one day I was like, hey, let's do a podcast. And or I said I want to do a podcast. And then he ends up hitting me up with like, hey, we should start a podcast. And then next thing I know, he's sending me the equipment and all that stuff. And we got the couches and then got the lights and then we painted the room. And next thing you know, like we're kind of having some cool guests on here, man. Nice. Just like yourself, man, bro. So
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
A real Grizzly City boy on here, man.
Heck yeah, man. We're trying to put on for the city.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but
who was you watching? I'm asking you one more question. Who was you watching when you was like, all right, I want to have a podcast or I want to do a podcast? What was you doing?
It's because I watched a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
Right. Like now, like damn near, I don't really listen to music in the car unless I'm with other people. But when it's me on the way to work, like I'm listening to a podcast.
Who you listen to?
I listen to I like Bradley Martin. He has a Raw Talk. I don't know if you heard them.
Not
and then I like the Nelk Boys. I don't know if you've heard of them.
NELK.
Yeah.
Sure.
The Nelk Boys, and so they have a podcast too. And then just like
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, Grant Cardone. He put me on to Patrick Bet David, and so I always watch those. But honestly, I just like talking to people. Like,
yes, sir.
That's what I do. Like for my job, I've been doing it for the last 9 years, 8 years. And so like I sit across from somebody different every single day from all age. Like, I had a customer that was, he was like 90 years old, bro. Like, yeah, like, or, up in that age. And then I have new people that are just like 18, 20 or whatever. Cause
what you do?
I sell car insurance.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what I do.
You're a salesman for sure.
Yeah. And that's my strong suit, which is sales, which is nice because everybody kind of has a key part in our team, right? Because it's mainly me, David, and Luis, and then we got some other people that help us and stuff like that whenever we need. But yeah, like I do, the talking, the sales.
Like you said earlier, it's something for everybody.
Exactly.
Like everybody can't be a rapper. Everybody can't be a basketball player. Everybody can't be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And
but everything makes it go around.
And when you got your position locked in, that always helps the productivity of whatever you're trying to execute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's definitely great having a team.
Nice.
Yeah.
For sure. I've been doing everything by myself lately, but
man,
it's all good.
Yeah. They say with the team, bro, you'll go far.
Right.
You'll go far.
And I've been a part of some big teams, man. Like I was telling you earlier, TNO. Just to get into that, it started off with almost 19 members, and they was all friends. Mm-hmm. They all mostly went to Hoover High School and played sports together. Grew up, started making music, and then they started helping pushing the artists that was more focused on the recording side of things. And then as the influence grew, differences grew with that. So then they kind of spread out, started to feel different ways about the whole conglomerate. Mm-hmm. Then it got down to 9 artists. But we had a whole system. They were actually their own record label, right? So even though they were performing artists, they were also board members, you know, and they own company, their own entity. It was the LLC. So they was moving like that, and I was the CFO / manager / everything else, like everything behind the scenes, business administration, basically.
Yeah.
So I was doing all that, and you know, the team, it helped. The meetings, having a meeting every week, you see the growth, and it helps you identify your objective. That way you can be more productive in your strategy, right? Mm-hmm. So I definitely can relate to what you're saying about the team. As of late, you know, it was the group dissolved through legal technicalities and stuff like that. And I had to get to a point of where I needed to find myself again as an artist and like figure out what I really wanted to do for me. You know what I mean? So that part, I kind of like went back into music production, started making music again. And I went back to Dallas. You know, I'm back and forth between Cali and Dallas and Dallas, Texas. And it got to the point where I was like, all right, I need to figure out how to create those other positions that I was facilitating for TNO, but for me. So then I started surrounding myself with people who had that experience. And sure enough, it started to take off again. And then I was filming music videos, dropping music videos like once a month. This was in 2021, 22.
Okay. Right in the COVID. I feel like COVID was a reset.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you'll see that in the movie as well. You'll see how it kind of forced us to be creative, right? Because everybody was isolated. And it's like, who are you? Like you by yourself, what are you going to do to pass this time? And most people went to the things they were passionate about. And of course, mine was visual marketing and just content creating. I love the design. And you know, as you can see, I try to keep my hands active. And long story short, I end up accessing all this archive footage that had been filmed over the years of my life, not realizing that I had been kind of being conditioned for being in front of a camera, right? My mom, them back in the 90s, you'll see in the movie as well, is how it starts off where 1991, I'm in front of a camera and I don't want to be in front of a camera. And it's crazy because my mom say, Happy Father's Day, Keith. She say, Happy Father's Day, Keith. And I don't know my dad. You just see me like, just like kind of like shying away. Like, what did that even mean, right? Mm-hmm. And it progresses. And then you start to see the community. It mostly started in Madera, even though I was born in Fresno. The film starts in Madera, California. And then you get to see my generation, and then you get to just see it expand throughout the movie. And throughout the movie, almost every holiday, they're filming us, right? So it gets to the point where we're growing up, and now we're kind of like more comfortable in front of the camera, and we're dancing and we're rapping. It's my cousins. And then you see throughout the movie, it's the same people growing up in front of the camera. Like, I couldn't have imagined that I would be trying to be, you know, a performing artist or anything like that. And I couldn't have imagined that the culture would be what it is now, like the technological advancements with social media and all that stuff. And as you go throughout the movie, you see how this is a reoccurring thing. And that's what gave me the story originally when I got the footage, you know, in 2022. And I was like, whoa, this is a whole story on top of all the footage I filmed throughout college and for other people and family events. So I was like, yo, let me consolidate this and put it into one story, 31 years of footage, and present it to the city, because it's really telling the story of Fresno. You know what I mean? This is a very rich community when it comes to arts. It's a very rich mural, graffiti, musical, agricultural city. You know what I mean? But oftentimes I feel like Fresno is overlooked because we don't necessarily have those resources or those platforms that present that high quality content. So everybody expects things to be like a low budget or like not taken serious type of idea. So I was like, all right, I really want to present something that's of quality of the, you know, commercial industry, but for us, for Fresno, for the Central Valley.
And that's what I love, man. And that's why, like, I saw you doing that and I'm like, that's dope, man. Like, we got, you know, a producer, someone producing a movie right here out of Fresno, and you already got everything booked with Maya and everything like that. So it's like, Man, good shit, bro.
Man,
You're putting on for the city, for real.
Like I said, I appreciate y'all having me, and I would love to see y'all grow. I would love to be a part of the growing process, wherever I could fit in, whatever y'all feel like I can contribute to. If it's content, or if it's just promotions, or if it's just, participating in y'all events and things like that. I just want to be a part of it. That's what I'm here for. And I also want to showcase that, right?
Yeah,
because the documentation is a lot of it. It's like you can do something, but nobody will know about it. And then it's like, okay, yeah, you did it for yourself. That's cool. But how can you get other people involved if they can't see it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy how you were saying, like you guys were filming all this stuff, not knowing what you were filming it for. And then you got those growing pains of getting comfortable on the camera, like out the way. Cause I could tell, like, as soon as you start, like, cameras start rolling, some people, start fidgeting or, get a little nervous, or they'll forget what they're going to say, or sort of stuff like that.
And shout out to I don't know if y'all know DJ K Rich.
Oh, bro,
so
that's
he was the one we used to have when I told you we used to have these meetings, those weekly meetings. He was the one who made it imperative that we become media trained, right? Because even when I first started rapping, my first song went on to B95, and that happened because we auditioned to open up for Bow Wow. Excuse me, at the Fresno Fair. And I had no idea. I was just like, rapping, grabbing the mic, trying to draw crowds and just put myself out there. And we didn't win the showcase, but somehow B95 seen it, right? And then they were like calling for us on the radio, like, yo, whoever this group was, they was killing it. We want to get them on the radio. And we was like it was like we thought we were about to be famous. Like, we were like,
that's crazy.
Go straight to the radio. So,
and B95 is huge. And this was when K Rich was part of B95, or no?
This was even before that.
Wow.
This was even before that. And long story short, we end up going to the radio. We end up getting an interview. They still having a homegrown show on Sundays. I don't know if they still do it. And when we got to the radio station, I had no idea of the overwhelming experience. Yeah. And when they said, all right, we're finna start recording, something changed. And I was like, I can't even talk right now. Like, I'm nervous. Like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know the first thing about being in the media, right?
Yeah.
So from that experience, it kind of was always this thing like, all right, you want to be prepared. Like, you know what I mean? You want to give the best representation of yourself so that people can relate, or you can express yourself and get your message across. And then over time, I knew that. But TNO, they were young, fresh out of high school. And by them being able to be mentored by somebody like DJ K Rich, he was the one who laced us with the game and was like, yo, media training. Like, this is very important. So shout out to him for that. And
no, huge shout out to K Rich, because I'd say K Rich is who like a big part of where we are today. The
Fresno community in general.
Yeah. So he's been putting on people for forever. It sounds like. That's crazy. Going all the way back that way.
For sure.
Yeah, because we started, and right when we started, David, he knows one of his good friends. His name's Ben. I don't know if you know Ben. He does like a lot of events and stuff like that. Plays guitar and stuff like that. But he's part of. It's crazy because we're actually part of DJ K Rich's media team right now.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's till this day. Yeah. Because we started in September. Yeah. And then he gave us opportunity to go and film for him at Hot Girl Halloween.
Okay.
And so like for me, that was my first time. Like I got to interview P-Lo, Lil Baby, or not Lil Baby, 310 Baby.
Okay.
So like for me, that was like, man, and I wasn't fully ready then.
Right. Yeah, it's an experience when you around celebrities and you kind of like expect them to want to be treated a certain way, but really they just want to be normal. And in our bodies, we're kind of like overwhelmed because we like, oh, I have to act important, right? But really, it's just like, let's just be normal. Let's just be casual. Let's be cordial. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of it. But it is certain things you say and don't say. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't know that, especially like in the industry. Like if you're in the independent industry, excuse me, you kind of like I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be me. And then sometimes that's not the best approach because there's a time for everything. You know what I mean? So Definitely, yeah. Just learning that, having those experiences as much as you can, like music festivals. That's how I really got my media training. I did a lot of press and at South by Southwest, at Oaktopia, and all these other Texas music festivals, right? Even some film festivals I was a part of, and I always had my camera. I always had my Canon T2i back then. So I just noticed one thing: they always let me in free. They always like, oh, he got a camera, he's gonna film. Like, even if I didn't do a good job, they're like, just let him in. Yeah. And then also, I was always in a room with very important people. So it made me want to sit up straight and like have business cards and wear like collar shirts and just be a certain type of way. Cause it was like, okay, this is
the way
like,
you carry yourself.
Yeah, that way you can have a better interaction with the guests.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important. But you would never know if you don't get those opportunities.
Exactly. Because I think one thing I've noticed is the more comfortable you become on camera, the easier it is to just be yourself on camera. Because you just want to like, I feel like at first that camera turns on and you feel like you got to be like hype or you got to be
what's
like,
up, man? It's your boy. Yeah. It's like, that's the first thing you want to do because that's what you see a lot, but it's not really you.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? So,
yeah. So over time, that's one thing that I feel like now I feel like the camera like starts running and I really don't feel any different. I mean, maybe I watch what I say a little bit more.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's important. Yeah. Like I said, it's just, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's a time and place for everything.
Exactly.
Just speak on topics that's not should be exposed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So make sure you know what you're talking about and know who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. I had to learn that, especially here, growing up here.
Yeah. So what's your background? So you born and raised here in Fresno?
Born and raised, 1988.
And you know what? Before we get back into that, I didn't even get a chance to have you introduce yourself and tell the Grizzly folks what you do, who you are, and what you do.
Man, Grizzly City, what's up? I'm home, man. Yeah, if y'all don't know me, I'm gonna give y'all my whole government. I have no intent on hiding who I am. I'm so Fresno. Like there was a Grizzly City rapper who was part of Fashion Camp. His name was Graphic, but he changed it to Omar Ora. And he's dope. Yeah, his first slogan was "I'm so 559," and he was one of the first person with a T-shirt that was part of his promotional campaign for his mixtape. And it was "I'm so 559," and we all related to that. We all used to wear them shirts. Shout out to you if you see this. You know what's up.
Shout out Sam, the nickel 9 shirts.
Yeah, that was all part of the same era. Yeah. That was the same era. Fresno Uncensored, the movie, the documentary, it's all there, the archive footage. But I'm saying that to say, Marquise Perkins, that's my...
That was my name. Fresno Uncensored.
Fresno Uncensored.
Yeah.
Hey, we met him at Nacho Studio.
Who?
The
Omar?
guy from... I forget his name, bro. Damn. Hey,
Who
my
was
bad.
he? What'd he do?
He's the guy that filmed the documentary Fresno Uncensored.
The black dude?
The black dude.
Knit the Pig?
Bro, honestly, I can't remember his name, but he's the one that filmed it and went to all
That's
the hoods and Nitty.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot of legal.
Yeah, he was telling me about all that shit.
That's the big homie. He's from Madeira.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
he's like, by way of family, he's family.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, we still got to get him on here.
Yeah,
we talked about
he's
it.
a walking archive. You feel me? Like he got a lot of stories and a lot of history that he can, share with y'all, and it'd be perfect for the platform.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's so Fresno, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I have no intention on hiding who I am. Even with the story, I would never. Okay, I'm not gonna say never, but now that I'm older, I want to represent this community a certain way. The right way, the way that where we can be proud of it as a conglomerate, as a collective, and also help the next generation benefit from it, right? Because just like good business follows you, bad business follows you. And we all make mistakes. You know what I mean? Especially when you're in that learning curve, when you're trying to figure out what you want to do and who you are and your value. Everybody want to be important in this industry. But sometimes you don't understand like playing the background, right? So let me get into it. My name is Marquise Perkins. I go by Quisey. I was born in 1988 on Festa in Community Hospital. I grew up in the middle of the city for the majority of my life until I moved into about 6th grade. Then I moved to Fruit and Ashland, Casa Velasco. Left Jane Adams, went to Slater. From Slater, went to Cooper Middle School. From Cooper Middle School, I went to Fresno High. Then got kicked out. Went to Crescent View at Manchester Mall. Left there, was accepted back into Fresno High, got kicked out again. And then ended up moving to Seattle to graduate. So I did a lot of traveling. But in that time span, I was able to meet a lot of people. I was able to, make relationships, life-lasting relationships with a lot of people. So throughout the movie, you will see that as well. But I've always been musically inclined. And when I lived in Casa Velasco, that's when I discovered the program Fruity Loops. And that's where my musical journey started. So from there, which was 2002, 2004, somewhere about that time, that's when I really started like producing and started making beats. And then we would have like those old DV cameras, the Sony DV cameras, and we would just shoot little skits around the apartments. We'll get all the kids involved, and we do ones like the Grand Theft Auto one where we would do the stop frame animation where we'll pause it and then hit record again and then put like a different prop in their hand. And I don't know if you know like how Grand Theft Auto used to be, like when you change the weapon, it like just pops up. So we would try to do things like that, and that was my introduction into just media production, like film production and video production, stuff like that. And then we would try to sync the music, the beats that we would make with the production. And so we was like, just trying to take it serious, trying to figure it out. And this was pre-YouTube, wasn't a YouTube. Later YouTube would come, but even before then there was Windows Movie Maker. And you can make a movie on there and then you can burn it to a CD. So we used to make dance videos, like crumping and like getting hyphy, going dumb. And we would take them to school and try to sell them. We'd be like, yo, we got a $5 DVD. Like it's us dancing in the kitchen or in the garage or something like that. So that's how I got my first start into it. And like we had a few supporters and they were just like, nah, y'all gonna be big. And we was like, like kind of hyped about it, but we didn't know. It wasn't no outlet. It wasn't no avenues. You know what I mean? Then we'll run into other artists in the city, and then they'll be like, yo, they'll recognize us and be like, yo, y'all kind of dope. Like, what's up? Like, how do y'all do what y'all do? And we'll just like go back and forth and, shoot the shit, pick each other's brains and do things like that. And then that kind of led us into performing live in different events like showcases and talent shows, right? Because I feel like that's the fastest way to sharpen your craft is to get a real feedback from people you don't know. And they'll tell you, like especially Fresno. Fresno is a very critical crowd. Like if you got something good here, they'll endorse you. They will. They say it's a test market, that Central Valley is a test market for all other products that they manufacture throughout the country. I don't know if you ever heard that.
No, I didn't know.
Pretty deep. A lot of stuff was started here. Visa was started here. Yeah. Visa was started downtown Fresno. Yeah.
That's wild, bro.
And that's a whole nother story. I'll get into it later, but for sure. Long story short, I ended up linking up with the homie Crunchy Productions, and at the same time, he was shooting fashion video. He was shooting my video and fashion video. And something happened. He lost the footage to our video. And then from that point, I was like, I'll have to shoot my own videos as well as make beats, right?
That's like your worst nightmare as a videographer, bro. It's like...
And I ain't gonna lie, it kind of made our relationship kind of weird because I was like, dang, like we invested money into it. We had the whole Casa Velasco come out, support us. We shut the whole bus stop down. The police came and stopped the traffic for us. It was a really epic, it was an epic thing. You know what I mean?
Epic moment. Yeah.
So we wanted to really like showcase that to the city and bring it to light. But, for whatever reasons, it never happened that way. But that was the point where I knew like I wasn't going to always be in front of the camera. So I was like, all right, let me get behind the camera and start trying to figure out how to showcase the people who, got that talent and experience that we need to put in the Fresno limelight. You know what I mean? So that's how I got behind the camera. And then kind of just doing that for my older cousin. He was like on his way to getting signed to a big old record deal, Warner Music Group and all this stuff. You'll see that in the film. The same people who shot Lil Wayne documentary came to the hood, Casa Velasco, and they were shooting Lil Wayne's documentary and they're shooting our documentary simultaneously. And then he kept going back and forth to jail. He couldn't stay out of jail. So
Your cousin or?
yeah, his name is Illegal Cartel.
Yeah.
And you'll see him in the story as well. That's the one you'll see us grow up in front of the camera. Like you literally get to see it. And it's just strange. I don't know. Like some things in this life you cannot stop. It's just, or you can't make up. It just happens. It's inevitable, right? So you'll see that happen. And he kept going in and out. So I would be like kind of trying to rap, but then I always fall back behind the camera all the way into the point where I moved near Fresno State, and then I was like out of my GED, all this stuff, and I was just like, what am I gonna do with my time? Like my music career, as far as being in front of the camera, it just felt like it was old. It felt like everybody was like more rappers at this time in the community, which was never a problem. It just was like, okay, how do we figure out who to showcase and how do we figure out who to support, if that makes sense? End up getting accepted to the Art Institute of San Francisco. And just,
Yeah. So what made you want to go to film school or like?
okay, so originally I wanted to go to culinary. I wanted to go to Le Cordon Bleu or fashion, but I always had a passion to cook. I love cooking, even to this day. Like we're always cooking. Like that's what we do. And I remember.
I need to talk with you about. We'll talk off camera about that. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. And I always been a film guy. Like I just love movies. I love cinema. Like, you know, Scorsese's and Spike Lee's and John Singleton's and Coppola's and all these different directors. I love a good story. Like, you know what I mean? Especially with less special effects. I like the stories, right? When you could tell me a story and it's just like, it captivates you. That's what I feel like cinema is all about. To each his own, however.
I like more story-based movies, type of like, you know, Pursuit of Happiness, like that style.
Yes, sir. Sandlot.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Little special effects, but it's just one of those movies. But Pursuit of Happiness is definitely a good storyline, right? It's no special effects other than the tears and probably a few cut scenes, like cut flashing angles and stuff like that. But that's what I was trying to get into. And I remember I thought I wanted to be like a super producer. Like I wanted to learn everything about entertainment, right? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to a art school, preferably digital and cinema. And I wanted to be independent. So that was my choice for San Francisco because that's the biggest independent market in the world, right? So I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm finna go out here, I'm finna get my hands on and, you know, get my feet wet and all this stuff. But when I got there, it was so commercial. It was just like LA. Like the curriculum is a commercial curriculum. So then I was like, damn, like I kind of like jumped into something that I wasn't really ready for. But at the same time, it was a lot of experience, you know, even with that, like not knowing and then having to learn, you know what I mean? So I would go there and I thought I wanted to be a director. And it come to find out I was already a producer because I was already this person who was making music and bringing the people who needed to be on the music to perform it or putting people on different songs. I was already doing that. And I didn't know that I was a producer. I thought I was a director. I thought I was directing traffic. You know what I mean? Then when you go and learn the terminology for film versus music, you will be like, oh, okay, a director is somebody who kind of like guides the storyline. The producer is someone who contracts and bring all the staff together, right? So there's a difference. But in music, producer is basically the person who make the beat and sometimes write the song as of now. You know what I mean? Just depends on how far they step into that
role.
Yeah. So I had to learn that. And then once I kind of got the grasp of that, I was like, oh, I'm a producer. And that kind of gave me a better idea on what I was doing. So then by this time, I ended up leaving school early and moving back to Fresno. And then by this time, YouTube was a thing. Like 500 views was a lot. You know what I mean? It was before viral. Like Instagram wasn't even
like mainstream, right?
Yeah, you had to be a celebrity to have an Instagram at this time. Like I don't know if you remember that. It was 4 squares. It wasn't 3. And you had to be a celebrity. They had to invite you to this platform. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But you can watch it. You can have an account. You can like other people's stuff.
But you just couldn't post anything. Yeah.
So it was very different. And then I remember we started this series called My Sweet My Sweet 16 bars, and we would just go to all the different neighborhoods and film the rappers. Basically, we took the format for Fresno Uncensored, how they was going to everybody hood. We was doing the same thing, but with the raps. We would just go to, like, everybody wanted to rap at this time. So we was like, all right, we just gonna come pull up on you. We're gonna film it, and then we're gonna upload it tonight. And then some people were getting like thousands of views, like overnight. And I was like, whoa, like I started to see like the influence and the motion it was having. So I was like, yo, this is something. But as most people know, Fresno has a very aggressive culture. So like
Cult-like?
Yeah, but sometimes it'd be like hate, or it'd be like very derogatory. It's like, if you from this part of town, people don't really want to mess with you. And it's like, you can be talented as hell, but because people don't agree with that demographic or whatever, it's just kind of like people don't want to really engage with it. So I was like kind of experiencing all these conflicts of interest. And I'm a very diplomatic person, you know what I mean? Like, I try to reason with production. Like, is this productive? Are we being productive? That matters more. I can settle the differences. You know what I mean? If we're being productive, you know what I mean? So I was trying to do that, and it just kept getting to the point where people are just like fighting and bumping heads. And I was like, you know, I need to get away, right? Again, because by this time I came back from San Francisco, and I was just like, I need to get away because I don't want to be involved in this negative energy. So that's how I went to Dallas. And my best friend, the one who I started making beats with, he was always back and forth between California and Texas all throughout high school, ever since I met him, basically. And when after college, he was just like, come out here, come just see if you like it, right? Like, you're a grown up, you can handle your own, just come check it out. And I'm thinking, like, I'm just gonna go out there for 2 weeks. That was in my head, like, for real. I caught the Greyhound. It took 27 hours. Yeah, on a Greyhound. So I just leave. That's how desperate I was to leave. I was ready to go. Like, end up leaving, and then I get there, and then it was just like enchanted. Like, Texas is enchanted as hell. Like, especially if you're a Californian. A lot of people don't know that's our big sister state. So after the American Revolution, everybody who left after slavery and like all that stuff, everybody started going west. The gold rush and all that, the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, coming to California.
They were just going left. They didn't know how far they were going to go. A lot of people didn't know it was an ocean over there. They were just going like, I'm getting away from this as far as I can. I'm free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have the gold rush. And when California became a state, it has to be adopted by a big sister. And by that time, Texas was the most established, right? So they adopted California. That's why we have a lot of the same city names. There's a Fresno, Texas. There's a Frisco, Texas. There's a Oakland, Texas. There's a Las Vegas, Texas. There's a Pasadena, Texas. All these is California cities, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But they all come from Texas. So long story short, going over there, then people, they treat you, and if you're from California, you're the plug automatically. They even think you got something. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna get in too explicit on what it is, but they gonna treat you like the plug. They either think you know somebody in Hollywood, you know somebody in the industry, or you got the loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they embrace you. They like, yeah, it's the homie. It's my Cali homie. You feel me? So I was experiencing that, and I'm just like, dang, like, I'm from where people don't even recognize nothing, and then over here they just treat me like I already did something. So I was just playing it to my advantage, you feel me? Yeah. And then we just started being in all these different arenas and festivals like Red Bull. I'm talking about commercial shit, bro. Like Oaktopia, like Ray Shrimmer, and like Erykah Badu and Andrew WK and Blues Giants, and like all I had was a camera, bro. And it was just like, they was like, nah, if you're gonna film, come on, like, we'll give you press, we'll give you media, we'll give you all these things. And I was like, yo, this is what I went to film school for, right? I wanted to be in the industry. And if you know LA, it's not that easy. It's like who you know. But in Texas, it's what you can do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks turned into 2 years.
Out in Texas?
Yeah. 2 years turned into 10 years. I've been out there almost 15 years at some point. You know what I mean?
Damn. Yeah.
My brothers, they all there. You know, my mom and my sister, they came, but they said it was too slow. So they like LA kids. So they kind of like fast life.
Yeah.
And they always came back, you know, they always wanted to come back. But me, I was like, yo, I like the money. I love the energy. I love the free range of production that's there. So that's how I got stuck out there. And then my little brother ended up growing up, you know, TNO Freshie. And they had TNO, but it was a different TNO. And I guess they had fell apart, like not fell apart, but like everybody kind of went their own ways. And then my little brother, he used to call me and be like, yo, I'm trying to make a song. And I'll be like, all right, just be true to yourself, bro. Like, tell the truth. Like, don't talk about things that's not you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to tell you how to make music, but if you bring something to you that you don't want, you can't stop it once it's there. You know what I mean? So be honest. And then he would just be like, yeah, when you come out here, can you shoot me a video? And then I ended up coming. I ended up doing a TV show with the homie Kato at Soapbox Theater right here in Tower. 26 episodes. We had MC Wicks on there. We had Vera Craze. We had Omar Ora. We did like, I think 16 episodes. And it was a real TV show, like 26-minute episodes, right? And we did about, I forget how many. It was more than 15. But I cannot remember exactly. It was a lot of people who would come in.
What was the show about?
It was just showcasing talent in the city.
Oh,
just
dope,
interviews.
Yeah.
I have to send you the link.
Okay.
And it was crazy. You know MC Wicks?
Yeah, shout out. He's been on here too.
He know this face. They all know this face.
Yeah.
So we were just basically trying to build a platform, right? Through DigiMeds, Digital Medication, which is my platform. And once we finished the whole series, the homie was like, you know, it's a TV station in the city that will, you know, play this stuff. And that's CMAC TV downtown, the old Fresno B building right next to PBS. Yeah. So I had no idea I would take it there. Long story short, in between me taking that television series there and my little brother asking me to shoot the music video, I ended up linking up with Sean F. And then me and Sean F linked up and we shot the first TNO music video, the new TNO music video, which was Pull Up with him, Echo, and Leaky Bo. We shot it at Boomers. The last day Boomers was open.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
man, R.I.P. Boomers.
Right, man. Epic summers, bro.
Yeah.
Epic summers. That was our Magic Mountain. That was our Disneyland. You feel me?
And I'm like, why? They shut it down and then it was empty for like years.
And they put a
living spaces. It just opened up like last year or something. Yeah,
that's crazy. So we shot the video. The video goes viral. We do a launch, a rollout, crazy little rollout. We had $5 or no, we had like $20. I think it cost it to upload it to the DSPs, and we just did a rollout. And because the song was infectious, it kind of like showed me like, all right, this is how you introduce content, right? You want to do your pre-production, you want to do your production, then you want to do your post-production, then you want to do your marketing, but you want to have a budget, right? That took off, and then it just kept going, and they're just like, oh, we have another video we want to post, like, or we got another song we want to shoot a video to, and then that went into that video. But before I could finish the second video, I ended up taking the TV show to CMAC. And then they were like, oh, do you need to film it? I'm like, no, it's already filmed. They're like, oh, do you need to edit? I'm like, no, it's already edited. They're like, well, let's run it. So then we start running it. And then they're like, yo, like, how did you do this? And I'm like, yo, me and the homies, we just linked up, had an idea, and we just execute. Like, I'm the type of person, I don't like to wait. Like when it comes to production, like I can understand patience and things like that. But once you see, you know, all the components it takes to be productive, like how you wanted to do the podcast, and then bro, just like why. That's what I like. I like to be working. You know what I mean? Like, we got it. Let's go. While it's fresh. You know what I mean? And then we'll figure it out later. You know what I mean? So
that's one thing I learned by doing this is I feel like my risk tolerance is like so much higher now. It's just like, boom, you just start and you'll figure it out as you go.
Come on. And that's the story, right?
Yeah.
That's the story. knowing is half the battle, right? And if you just start, like so many people out there, like they got good ideas, but they be so afraid to look embarrassed. Like the fear will kill them. You know what I mean? The fear of embarrassment. Let's just say that. They be so scared of being embarrassed, like, oh, somebody gonna laugh at me, but they have a good idea and you can sharpen it and you could own it later on, but just start it, right? Long story short, C-Mac was like, all right, if you want to do anything else, just get a membership. So I was like, all right, let's get a membership. So then we get the membership and then they're like, oh, you got all this equipment. So then in between then and me trying to do something else for myself, in between me trying to do something for myself, their stuff just keeps going viral. So then they end up becoming a record label. Like I was like, okay, they end up becoming they end up going viral. Let me get it there. They end up going viral. And then I was like, okay, like we have momentum. And because my big cousin, the one I was telling you, who was signed to Warner Music Group or on his way to get signed to Warner Music Group, they had built a record label and I had watched what they did. And then by me having experience from the music festivals and all the artists that I was working with in Texas, I had used all that experience on TNO, right? And then they were just like, how is all this momentum just building up? But I was just using strategies that had already been successful, right? So from there, it kind of gave me more insight into the industry. And then I was able to help them tell their story. But then, you know, like I said, that it would end up dissolving, but the experience is all there. You know what I mean? The influence is still there to this day. Like, and the relationships is still there to this day. So at the end of the day, I feel like it was very successful, even though it wasn't the $1 million or the Grammys or the big, you know, whatever we expected, like once it started taking off. But it's like, you can't take the experience away. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So.
And that's the biggest thing as well. And so where do you start? Because I know you told me that you've been putting this movie together for 3 years, right? Just cutting. Where did that all start?
Man, this is crazy, right? This is crazy. So I was working at Peterbilt Motors. Peterbilt Motors is the largest diesel company in the country and probably in the world.
They're probably the best semi trucks, like a Peterbilt. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'm not a Mac, I'm a Peterbilt from Cars, right?
Yeah.
So
damn.
Yeah, no,
I
for
didn't
real.
get that reference in the movie until you just said it right now.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So long story short, Peterbilt Motors is in Denton, Texas. Denton, Texas is the jazz capital of the country. Their UNT, University of North Texas, is the #1 jazz institution in the country. And that's what kind of kept me there, was the music scene in Denton, right? So me working with all these different artists and then, you know, finding myself back into the industry, performing and all that stuff. I was shooting the music videos, and then I would come home all the time, and I knew that I was just working there, even though it was a good job, making like $60,000, $70,000 a year, $80,000. That's no overtime, and it's unlimited overtime. I was just making minimum, you know, because I was just like, I'm cool with this. You know, I don't have kids. I don't have nothing holding me back. I'll pay all my bills and finance my dream. I was like, I wanted to, how did I initially get the movie out of my head? I don't really remember. Oh, I do remember. Okay, this kind of creepy. Like it's this thing called technopath. And that means you can dream about what's on the internet. Or you could dream about AI, or you could dream about things that's like almost telepathic. It's kind of weird. I don't want to really get into it, but I got to break it down because this shit really happened.
Yeah.
One day I just wake up from this crazy ass dream about one of my aunties who had passed away. And I didn't know she passed away. I just woke up. And in a dream, it got very emotional, and I was about to start crying. I woke up, but when I woke up, I was crying. Then I was like praying. Like, it was very spiritual. And I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I just had the craziest dream about Auntie Yvette. And then she was like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, it feels like the dream and the reality are together. It was very, very, very scary because I never had that feeling before. So then she was just like, just get some rest. Like, go back to, try to get some rest. So I would go to sleep just the same day, wake up, and I kind of still had that feeling on me. And I called my mom, and she was like, you okay? And I was like, I feel a little better. She said, have you seen Facebook? I said, no, why? She said, Auntie Yvette passed away. So I was like, I got to hang up. I'm about to have a breakdown. And she was like, do it on the phone. I was like, no. Click. Hung up. I'm sitting there like pacing my living room, my dog looking at me crazy. I'm crying. And I'm like, how? Like, I'm very spiritual. I'm like, God, like how? Like, how can I dream about something that happened before it happened and then it's on the internet? And like, I don't know how to explain it to this day, right? So long story short, in this dream, we were watching old footage of her and my uncles, her brothers, right? Mm-hmm. End up coming home. Oh no, I ended up tearing my meniscus right before my birthday, my vacation and all this stuff. Came home. My cousin was like, I got all the footage of you and when y'all was little. So I'm like, bet. I'm like, I can make a movie or I can make a music video or something with that. I was like, let me get it. So he couldn't even give it to me because my computer didn't have a CD drive. And he had got everything burnt on CD at Horn Photo. And he ended up mailing it. So I'm back at home and I'm watching the footage. And the footage is the same footage that I had in the dream, that I had seen in the dream. And I was just like, whoa. And I was like, I could tell the story from the beginning all the way to now. And as I'm watching it, I'm seeing myself in front of the camera, not realizing that I kind of been a performing artist my whole life. Like I always been in front of the camera. My mom always had us in front of the camera, even when I was uncomfortable, until when I got comfortable, until I started to want to be in the camera, until when I started paying videographers to film me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is a story, right? Gets trippier. The story starts on June 16th at that time, 1991. That's the day it fell on. That's why I'm dropping the movie on June 19th.
Yeah.
Because it's just a reoccurring thing. But that's not even the crazy part. When I got the footage, I'm getting ready for work and I'm watching Good Morning America or Today Show, whatever. I watch the news in the morning, drink my coffee, get dressed, iron my clothes, go to work. Mm. They're like, oh, today marks the day that Juneteenth is a national holiday. And I'm sitting here like, what? And then they said any archive footage, anything documented with Juneteenth is now a national artifact and will be placed in the Juneteenth Museum, which is in Fort Worth, Texas. And I'm sitting here looking like, I just went home and got all this footage with Juneteenth on it. This is now a national artifact. In the United States of America, you know how they have the pyramids in Egypt?
Yeah,
that's what. You feel me?
That's wild. Yeah.
So then I was just like, dang, like this shit really kind of like bigger than me, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm looking at all the people in the movie, and a lot of people not here no more, and a lot of people grown, and a lot of people got kids, and even some of those kids got kids, and it's just you're watching this nostalgia. And then one of the things that I always used to like kind of wonder if time machines was real, and it was revealed to me like this is a time machine. So then I was like, I'm finna build a time machine, right? And I know this sounds crazy as hell, but that's what the camera does, right? Mm-hmm. It captures moments in time that you can either heal from, or it can trigger you, or whatever. Like it can project things. That's why we love this social media age, because it has more power than we even understand. That's what you see TikTok. That's what you see with the protests, with the immigration. This stuff is going down in history. It's never not going to be remembered unless it's going to be hard to erase all this information is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Technology can be made with essential minerals like copper. You know what I mean? Quartz. Your phone and all that stuff is all essential minerals. So as long as somebody have the tools in their garage, they can make another iPhone. we have the information now. It's not like a long time ago where you couldn't find a tutorial on how to figure something out.
Yeah, everything's on YouTube
people
now.
make better phones. They make better radios. They make better cars. They make better weapons. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the big company come to the small man. So that's where we're going to, the technological advancement.
It keeps advancing. Yeah.
So
rapidly.
Yeah. So basically, with that being said, I started to realize like how advanced this project was. And long story short, it kind of just consumed me to the point where I couldn't sleep, couldn't go to work. And I was just like, I have to finish this. This is like every other song, I couldn't sleep. You know, when you got a project and you really want to finish it, and you don't matter how tired it is, and tears are running down your eyes because you're tired and you're yawning. But you like, as soon as you get it done, you're just
locked in. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you're done, you knock out. Like you don't have no more worries. Like you're like, all right, I'll go to the next project when it comes. That's what this was. Mm-hmm. So from 2022 to
now.
Yesterday, I turned it into Maya Cinema. I took the hard drive up there. We got a private screening tonight. So I'm trying to go check it out and make sure the quality check is good. And
it's good.
It's gonna be on a big screen. So
congratulations,
appreciate you, Mike.
Yeah,
Sir.
Congratulations. That's amazing, man. That's amazing, for real. And what exactly is the movie about? It's just the life story?
In a nutshell, it's really about what it takes to pursue your dreams in a climate like the Central Valley. When you don't have no experience, no mentorship, just an idea, bro. You're going to see it. It's just an idea. And just trying. It's about my artistic journey. That's essentially what it will show at the end. It was just an artistic journey. When somebody wanted to be creative and had no experience, no mentorship, nothing, and then experiences success, even if it's once. You just do something and then people are like, whoa, I got the concept. I drew from that. And now I'm going to go be inspired and go do something for me based off what I seen from this guy who had no experience. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. It's about following your dream in a climate where dreams are killed daily. And I want people to grab from that. I want people to know like it's okay to feel different. Even if all your homies is doing this, all that, and you just know you want to do something different. If you know what you want to do, that's, like I said, half the battle. Now it's just getting started. And that's what I want to show, bro. I want to show people that it's possible, man, because I came before YouTube and I didn't finish film school. I got a movie in theaters. It's insane, bro. And I'll be honest with you, when I first did it, I was like, I'm going to drop it on YouTube. Then I was like, nah, I'm going to put it in film festivals. Then I was like, nah, I'm going to put it on Netflix. Then I was like, nah, I'm going to put it in a theater. And I'm talking about this all been, it didn't happen like in 1 month or 2 months, these ideas. They were just happening sporadically. Like whenever it got to the point where I felt like it can go to a bigger platform, then I was like, nah, I want to do it.
The vision just kept growing.
And the thing that made me say Maya Cinema, this is crazy. This story's crazy. And it's a picture. We could share the picture. I met Ryan Coogler the day Black Panther dropped here at Maya Cinema. Crazy. So I don't remember what day it was. It was a Sunday. We went to church. We went to Red Apple Cafe on Herndon and Palm Ingram. Herndon and Ingram. Mm-hmm. And I had told everybody the night before, yo, we going to go see Black Panther as a family. And we got to Red Apple Cafe and I was like, nah, I'm full. I'm going home. And my cousin, she was going to come with me. She probably wanted to come. And she's like, hell no. Like, you the one who made this. You got to go. So then I was like, yeah, you right. Okay. I was like, I'm tripping. Excuse me. We get to Maya Cinema and I see KC24 there. I see ABC 30 there. I see KMPH there. And I'm looking like, why is the news here? Like, did somebody get shot? Or like, was it something dangerous that just happened? Because the news is there.
Yeah.
So we kind of get there and we walking up to the door and then it's like a lot of people. And it's just like, you could tell something happened because it's a lot of people. But nobody's like mad. Like everybody's kind of like excited. Mm-hmm. So then I'm looking, I see the lights, the rafters hanging up with the Black Panther banner and all this stuff. I'm like, dang, like they went all out. Like Fresno going crazy. Like I didn't think the director was there. Long story short, rest in peace. My uncle's wife knew his PR manager, and they all went to Fresno State. His wife, Ryan Coogler's wife, went to Fresno State, if I'm not mistaken.
What? Wow.
Yeah. So they're all chilling there. Archie Davis, shout out to Archie Davis. He's the I think he was the president of Interscope Records. Mm-hmm. And he partnered with Ryan Coogler to start Proximity Records, who shot Sinners. That's their company. They're from Fresno. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Long story short, I'm walking in there and I'm looking, and then my auntie come up and she like, hey, the director from Black Panther here. And I'm like, what? I know who he is because of Creed and Fruitvale Station and all his other movies. And she's like, he's over there. Then she's like, y'all want to meet him? She's like, I know his PR manager. That's my nephew. I'm like, nah. She's like, yeah. She's like, I'm finna go tell him. So she walks up to him. Then she telling him like, yo, you know, this is my nephew. He make films. He do videos. He does management, all this stuff. The fool walks up to me and was like, what's up, big dog? Ryan Coogler. And I'm like, man, you the man of the hour. I can't call it. And he like, man, I heard good things about you. I'm like, that's a pleasure. I said, I know everything about you as far as what I could see. And he was like, what's up, man? And he was like, I was like, what is it like? I was like, being this successful and just having to deal with it. He's like, it's just taking it in. He's like, the hardest part is just taking it in and remaining humble. And then he told me, he said, what do you want to do? I was like, ultimately, I want to launch a film or a production company and produce, you know, quality content. And he told me, he said, everything you think is going to happen. Everything you think is going to happen. Everything you think is going to happen. This is before the movie. Before I even knew I was going to make this movie, bro. At Maya Cinema. This shit's crazy, bro.
Wow.
So then I'm being all modest. I'm like, man, it's just a pleasure to meet you, bro. I'm just like a fan and all this stuff. And I was like, Fruitvale's my favorite movie. He's like, for real? I was like, no, it's like one of my top 5 movies ever. And for me to be talking to you is crazy. He says, you want to take a picture? I'm like, nah, bro, it's cool. He said, no, you want to take a picture. And I'm like, all right, yeah. So in the picture, I'm like this. Like looking like just starstruck. And I don't get starstruck. I done met so many people. I done met so many famous people that you see on TV, bro. I never felt like
that energy.
Yeah, like I couldn't be myself, my original self, because I was too busy. Thinking about who this person was. And then long story short, we took the picture and he was like, man, stay up, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You got this. And that was that. But after that, I was like, damn, like what just happened? You know what I mean? Not really understanding what was going to take place. So I remember, like, you know, after TNO started popping, we was thinking about doing like some music video premieres at the movie theater. And then I remember they saying like you could rent them. And then I was like, oh, I want to like try to shoot a movie. I don't know what it was going to be about. I want to do a narrative. I want to do more narratives, especially like, you know, horror films or like romances, comedies. I love film. You feel me? So I was like, how do you put it in the theater, like without having to be signed to a major production company like Universal or whoever? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. New Line Cinema. And I remember calling around. It was like, oh, you could rent the theater and showcase your work. So I was like, all right, I don't really know about all that. Long story short, get to the point where the film is almost done. I started doing some research from my room in Texas, and then Maya Cinema was one of them places. And it's like, this is an independent film company. Maya Cinema is an independent movie theater company. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like Regal. It's not like Cinemark. It's a little bit more urban. So I was like, yo, like when I got to the point where I was telling you about Netflix and I was thinking about dropping it all those different ways, I was like, nah, I was like, I really want to get us back to this city. Like, I want to make sure that anybody can do it. Anybody can come see the film and then also know that they can show their films too. Like, just pay the money.
Yeah.
Shoot the film, pay the money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what got me into Maya Cinema. And then I do all my PR. I do all my emails and public relations. I have a few people. Shout out to Moses. You feel me? Moses Hernandez. He's a Sanger native, and he goes hard. Latino dude. He doesn't stop, and he loves the Central Valley. He does a lot of good work for politicians and homeless people and all kind of stuff. Like, shout out to Moses, man. And he kind of coerced me into just following through on that idea. And sure enough, they responded and they're like, we only want this much money. And, and I paid it. And they're like, all right, get us these formats, these video formats, and you're good to go. So yesterday, I hand delivered the hard drive to George at Maya Cinema. And they uploaded it last night, and I went to go pick it up today. So tonight, we're supposed to do like a private QC screening to make sure everything is good.
That's sick, man. Yeah.
And the crazy part, this gonna blow y'all mind. You get to keep 100% of your ticket sales. So if you charge $50 a ticket and you sell out,
and you made some bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could put the movie back in there and just keep doing it without, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, I'm just letting y'all know that's a big plug for y'all. You feel me? If you got a dream and you want to shoot movies and you in Fresno, California, even if you got a movie, if you got films and you want to really get your word out there, go check out Maya Cinema. And then, which is even crazier, I hit up all the news stations. I went online, got all their emails, and I just like blasted some emails to all the people. And of course, Great Day, KMPH, hit me back. And they're like, yo.
That's amazing, bro.
It's like, this is insane. Chris, shout out to Chris. I'm gonna holler at you.
Yeah.
I can't say your last name. I don't want to butcher it. Chris S. And he was like, yeah, man, this sound dope. I told him about the date and the idea of the project. And he's like, send me the trailer. They sent the trailer. They seen the trailer. He's like, yo, this dope. He's like, yeah, we'd love to have you on the show. We'll give you like 5 minutes to do your thing on Juneteenth. And if you can get it popping, you can get it popping. So, yeah.
Gonna have it going. Man, that's amazing.
Reaching out to y'all as well, like same thing. That was all the same week.
Yeah,
that was all the same week.
And so, how do you celebrate these moments, bro? Like,
that's a good question. I can't even answer it because this
we're about to get to that day.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been let down so much, like in the industry, or just with people like saying they could do things for me, to the point where I don't really have no expectation other than to be super productive and by efficient. Excuse me. I don't really have any other expectation other than to be efficient. And when I say efficient, I mean have an idea, create a plan, and execute it. Whatever comes out of it, I'm okay with, bro. I don't care if 2 people see it and love it. If 2 people see it and they love it and they could come back and tell me exactly what I was doing, that'll bring a tear to my eye. Cause I feel fulfilled, bro. I feel like I wasn't just crazy. Like I wasn't just having this thought penetrate my brain, keeping me up for whatever reason, and nobody seen it or nobody cared. So to celebrate this moment would be for everybody to experience it, for me to be able to share it, and then say, like, if I say, look what I did, and people be like, oh, okay, that's cool. To me, that's enough, bro. Or even if they be like, I have a good time. So one thing that I can tell you too is, like, growing up, my mom used to throw a lot of parties. And I just remember the feeling of like when everybody at the peak moment, when it's just like, you ever been to a party and it's so lit?
Yeah.
And it's like time, you don't even know what time it is. You don't even know who you chilling with, but you're having a good time.
You look around, you might have stopped like in a moment, like, damn, bro, like, yeah.
And then you wake up the next day like, bro, last night was lit.
Yeah.
That's my reward, right? So I guess I'll say this. My reward, or how I was celebrated, is the day after. If we have a successful event and only like I said, 2 people show up, which I know is not because I sold more than 2 tickets.
Yeah.
But even to the point where people are buying 10 tickets and like they're buying 10 tickets and like give them out. People are telling me that from Texas. Like, just get people in there. And I'm like, for sure, because that was the goal, just to get people in there and get the story out and get the dream fulfilled. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So it's not no real materialistic reward. It's more of a feeling, just a sensation of knowing I was successful at what I thought I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I love that, bro. And so what's next for you, man?
I can't even tell you, but it's some stuff.
It's been the last 3 years of your life, and it's...
Okay, so I want to open up a store, either a store or a studio. I want to open up a store where it's just like we just sell things that we make. I do a lot of designing. My family and friends, they do a lot of handcrafts, whether it's fashion or art or cooking, things like that. We do it a lot. So I want to be able to share that. And it's good. Like, the presentation is good. The flavor is good. I want to get that back. Like I said, I would have went to culinary school if I could. But what I'm learning is you don't really need to go to school if you're really passionate about what you do. So school helps. Don't stay in school, kids.
Yeah.
But either that or a production studio where we create high quality content. Series. I want to create series, like whether it's a TV show series, like a series of TV show series, or movies, podcasts, albums, catalogs,
all that
vlogs.
stuff.
I want to have a high quality. I want it to be like on the level of Universal Records here in Fresno, particularly.
Yeah.
Even if it's outside the city, that'd be cool. But as far as the next project, CMAC hosts a film festival every year. It's called the Big Tail, where they give a $8,000 grant for 5 minutes of production. $8,000 for 5 minutes of production. And you get to use all the state-of-the-art equipment they offer. All you got to do is fill out the grant. If they pick you, you win. If your story and you fill out the production proposal, you know, with the compellingness of to convince them that you deserve to be in this you know, event, they give you $8,000, and all you have to do is produce 5 minutes worth of content. And whatever, if it only costs you $30 to produce your stuff, and you already got it, you already got everything you need. The rest of the money, you do what you want with it. It's no paying back. So that's what I'm gearing up for immediately after this. And then also, I didn't say this about the film, but I want the film to, I want it to tour in film festivals, right? I've been to several film festivals, black film festivals included, and you see all kind of stories, not just from black people, but like I'm talking about stuff that make you cry. You can't fight. You can't fight it because the story is so good. You'll never see it on TV.
Yeah.
You'll never see it on YouTube, not for free, or unless somebody told you exactly what to search. And I feel like that culture here, Fresno has so many stories, so much.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have the platform to showcase that. So I would like to bring a festival here at Maya Cinema, preferably, and just get it popping, bro, within the next few months. So
yeah. If we could support in any way as well, let us know. At least putting people on to be able to find those stories, you know.
Yes, sir.
Fresno's so rich in culture, and that's one of the biggest things we've been trying to do is get those stories out. So, man, I love this podcast, bro. It was amazing. Have an amazing story, brother. You have any more shout outs?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the whole family. Shout out to everybody who ever contributed to, my growth, my development. If you know me, I know you. I'm not a forgetful person. I have the memory of an elephant. Like I said, I try to do big parties and involve everybody regardless of the political difference. I'm that person. I'm very diplomatic, and a lot of people know they come to my events. They have the best times, bro. They have a lot of fun parties and events where it's all different ethnicities, walks of life,
We'll have to pull up, man.
orientations. Nah, for real, bro. And shout out to Moses for really just locking in with me since I've been back. That's my dog. Shout out to Babe for investing into me. Thank you so much. Shout out to my brothers. They always believed in me. Even when I say some crazy ass shit, excuse my language, but I say some crazy ideas and they just like, they know that I'm passionate about it. So they kind of like help me, you know, go forward and just support me even in my lows. Like, you know what I mean? When I didn't feel as confident or whatever, I respect all that. And then shout out to the city of Fresno, man.
Shout out Fresno.
For the growth. For real, like it's tremendous. The resources here, like the Fresno Pro-Am. Shout out to my little cousins that's all playing in that. Paul George and all them. Jalen Green, AJ Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Rudy Gay all was here last year. And my little cousin, he's in TNO. He played in that with all those people. And now he's overseas in France, Jerron Bowers. And he's basically semi-pro, but just following his dream and, you know, doing what he had to do and just helping inspire our next generation. You feel me? So
yeah,
I just want to say to y'all, like the next generation, go further than what y'all see, and don't be so quick to give up or crash out. And you know, today's terms. Yeah. Don't just crash out because one thing don't go right or because somebody make you mad. You know, throw it all away, man. It's just like it's downs, it's ups. You have to remember that. You just when you high and you like, yeah. You gotta remember a down is coming. That's just life. Somebody gonna pass away. Something gonna happen. You gonna hurt yourself or something not gonna go as planned, and then you gonna have to start over. It's inevitable. That's just life. They say a heartbeat goes up and down. You ain't dead until it flatline, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, if it ain't no ups and downs, you done. So you should be going up and down constantly, right? Mm-hmm. So to the next generation, just keep going up and down, man. Just keep doing that, and whatever you think you can do, whether you think you can or you can't, you right. You feel me? So, yeah. That's pretty much it. And like I said, shout out to everybody out here trying to do it for the right reason. Like, you know what I mean? And to me, the right reason is the truth. Whatever you say, if you mean it and that's what you standing on, don't do something and try to convince somebody that is for another reason just to win their favor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just let them know. Like, be honest. Everything not gonna always pan out and all that stuff. But shout out to everybody who's doing it for, like I said, the right reasons. The right reasons.
No, well, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure, where can they follow you at, brother?
Man, right now, check us out. YouTube, Digital Medication. That's one word, Digital Medication. And it's the RX logo. Every time you see DigiMeds, and you see that RX logo, that's me. You feel me? That's us. You know what I mean? And Instagram, I love Quisey. That's ILOVEQUISEY, Quisey. And also, y'all go follow the KlipCity Movie Instagram account. You know, It's just regular KlipCity Movie or KlipCity the Movie. Hold on, let me double check.
And we'll tag it in our story and everything like that.
And as long as y'all you're engaging with us on there, you'll be able to stay up to date with what we got going on. And yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to give them a follow. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the KlipCity Movie. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
GrizzlyTalk Podcast.